Hello, everybody. Uh, it's that time. We're back with some more Voice of Cards. This is the third and final game of the trilogy. So we're gonna go ahead and set up a few things here. We have the mama. Alright, we're gonna use the iron avatar, I guess, this run. Card bases, we'll use the defaults, but in this game we do have access to the Run DLC, for those that played Reincarnated. So that is a thing. In fact, I'm going to use the caged board and the table for it, as well as the dice. But yeah, there's the Ren soundtrack or the defaults. We're gonna make sure we're on the default one. I really do like the music, no matter what. Just make sure all this stuff is set up. Okay, cool. We should be all good there. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start a new game. We're not gonna be carrying over any data. We're gonna be getting through the introduction with our new Game Master.
Greetings! Oh, did I surprise you? I am the Game Master. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Let's begin, shall we? My job is to draw you into this world with my voice and cards. So I'd be very pleased if you would play with the sound on. That being said, my voice is also subtitled, just like this, for your reading enjoyment.
Alright, so for those that aren't familiar with the voice, this is Karen Gilfrey, and she will be our Game Master for this game. So we're going to be playing with the subtitles, because it's always good to have that.
It looks like you're all set. Well then, let's begin.
Alright.
Welcome to the world of Voice of Cards. You're about to embark on a journey as the hero of this tale. This realm is home to humans and monsters. It is there you and your allies' adventure will unfold. That's the spirit. Now then, it's time to depart. Safe travels, my friend.
Alright, we can start time now.
A girl faces off against a monster within a dim cave. The girl adjusts her stance, readies her weapon, and lunges at her opponent.
Light is on. Yeah, so we kind of get thrown in here this time around, and things are just as difficult as they were in the previous Voice of Cards game, if that, even more so, especially because we have even more RNG to deal with. But we have
the monster defeated,
much different
the girl
story.
Lets out a sigh of relief. She surveys the area, but sees neither hide nor hair of other beasts. This girl is the hero of our story, and your window into the world. Despite your youth, you are a fierce warrior who defends your village from monsters. I have to get home. Your mission accomplished, you quickly leave the area.
Alright, and we're gonna begin our adventure by moving through the story. But yeah, so right now we're in the prologue. We're gonna head home.
In this world, there are creatures known as monsters. Humans have long been in conflict with these beasts. This ballista was installed to safeguard the village. Its massive arrows have split many a monstrous skull.
Yeah, so we start up in an underground village in the game. And we'll learn more about that as things kind of take off really quickly with this game.
Your village lies deep beneath the earth. Everyone has taken to living underground to safeguard themselves from the monsters. Although the village itself is well protected, the people within it are slowly but steadily spiraling toward ruin. The village is the same as always. It appears the battle above has not affected life here at all. An elderly man approaches you. Well done hunting down those beasts. Are you unharmed? He asks. You nod. He gives a sigh of relief, then begins asking question after question about the monster's strength and numbers. He appears to be worried about the gates and mechanisms on each level and whether they'll be enough to defend the village. Don't worry, I'll protect the village, you reassure him in a cheery voice, then continue on your way home.
Alright, so we're gonna jump to our house.
As you enter your house, your mother envelops you in a warm hug. Your mother seems worried as you haven't been home in days. You've been away for so long. Let the others know you've returned, she says, handing you a basket full of eggs. They're eggs from your chickens. It's your job to distribute these throughout the village. Okay, I'll be right back, you exclaim with a cheerful smile.
Alright, so our first order of business to hand out some eggs to the cheery villagers.
You hand the elderly man some eggs, and he gives you a large fish in return.
Wonder how long I'll be able to catch fish like this, he murmurs, and then shakes his head. My apologies. I will say no more.
The elderly man forces a smile, and you give him a smile of your own. Everything will be all right, you reassure him before heading on your way.
And anytime the game asks us to view collection, we're going to say no, but...
When the girl notices you, she immediately presents you with an armful of potatoes.
Look, I dug up these all by myself, she boasts, and then the biggest one is for you.
That's incredible, you exclaim, giving her a good-natured pat on the head. You then trade her some eggs for the giant potato. After you give the old woman a few eggs, she hands you some homemade seasonings.
Sprinkle this on your food and you'll regain your strength in no time, she tells you.
I will. You take care of yourself too, you hear? You reply in a lively voice. Just as you're about to hand the young man some eggs, you see his ears turn red, and he lifts a jar of water up.
This is for you, but it's heavy, so I'll come help you carry it home.
Don't worry, I can handle it, you assure him. Then take the jar and hand him some eggs. After making sure everyone receives their eggs, you quickly head home, spoils in hand.
But much like the previous games, the entire game is going to be narrated by our lovely game master and then told
You
through
return
a
home to see tasty dishes upon the table. While simple, it is more extravagant than usual.
Narrative experience such as this that plays out similar to a D&D style campaign, but it is a turn-based RPG still.
Happy birthday, dear, your mother says, stroking your cheek gently.
And it is our birthday.
That's right. Today is the day you turn 14. Your mother gifted you a handmade plush animal for the occasion. Oh, what an adorable plushie. I'm sorry I can't give you more, your mother laments, but you have nothing but gratitude for her. Just then, your stomach starts to rumble. Your mother smiles and asks, "Shall we eat?" That night at bedtime, you lay upon your bed with your plush animal in your arms. Yep, that's it, you say to yourself decisively. Your name is Ram. Your new plush animal officially has a name. It's nice to meet you, Ram. My name is...
And then we're going to leave the default name, which is going to be Allie.
You introduce yourself to the plush animal, as any well-mannered person would. That's a wonderful... You decide to show your new friend your most prized possession. You grab the book that's always beside your pillow and flip through until you reach a certain page. Aren't the stars just beautiful? This is what the outside world looks like. I want to see it with my own eyes someday, you confess. Not long after, you feel yourself getting sleepy. A yawn escapes your mouth. But just then, a scream echoes through the village. Monsters. You dash out of your house. Not a moment later, the old woman rushes over. "The upper gates have been breached," she cries. Your mother rushes over with a concerned look on her face and places something in your hand.
So every minute a party becomes incapacitated, it's game over. So obviously we're going to try to prevent that as much as possible, but very heavy RNG that we have to deal with throughout the run. Alright, now to go to the gate so we can defend our home. What a way to start your 14th birthday. Driven underground by monsters, starving, and then needing to learn to take up arms to survive.
Before the 4th level gate, the villagers face off against the incoming beasts. An elderly man turns to you and exclaims, "We must close the gate. Please stop the monsters." You nod and turn both pointed gaze and pointed weapon at the creatures. There are many traps nearby that will help you defeat the monsters. Use them to protect the gate. Battle time.
We're getting introduced to attack and defense values of characters and their HP. We're going to go ahead and hit everything. We're using the defenses that are set up around the gate to protect. And we're going to keep hitting with the rock trap for now, and then we'll deal with the turtle separately. And as I said in previous games, flat defense, or flat damage is pretty strong in any of the Voice of Cards games, so don't underestimate it, even if it's low damage.
You defended the gate splendidly. Once the battle is over, the villagers tell you that the upper levels are in danger, so you make your way up.
So time to head on up. And yeah, we get the full heal. Good.
The young man is fighting back monsters, but is losing ground. It won't be long before they reach the gate. I'll fight them off. You close the gate, you shout. The young man grimaces. I'm so sorry, he says, closing the gate behind him.
Also, Allie's outfit has a lot of belts. We target the slime right off the bat, and then we'll deal with the wolf. Ideally, when we're looking at taking out enemies, we want to take out the biggest threats first, or the easiest targets to clear out so that there's less turns for the enemy. So, kind of just depends on the situation and what we have at our disposal.
You manage to defend the gate, but see the old man from the village approach. Blood oozes out of a gaping wound on his back.
The fiends, the gates. There was a decoy in the village.
You rush to his side and check his pulse, but he doesn't have one. But the village, you gasp out, your heart trembling in anger and unease.
Oh, so already having death in this game compared to the other games. But yeah, this game starts real dark real quickly compared to the previous games, and it only gets darker and stuff from here.
Pebbles patter down on you from above. When you look up, you see a giant hole in the ceiling. You wonder if that's how the monsters got in. Oh no. Your mother. Is she safe?
Go head back to home.
You rush into your house, panting for breath, and find your mother on the ground in a pool of blood. Mother, you shriek. She opens her eyes, but only just.
My sweet little girl, you must live.
You sob and scream as you cling tight to her, but she never wakes to console you. Ram lies among the rubble, tattered and frayed. It is beyond repair. Your screams are the only sounds in the village that once hummed with life. Just then, a monster with a wounded eye appears. I found a survivor. As the monster shouts those resentful words, it lunges at you.
Alright, so this is a forced encounter that we can't win. We're also in a state of dread, so Allie is just going to give up.
You can't bring yourself to put up a fight.
Well, we lose this fight.
Everyone you ever cared about.
We get the
is
very
gone
sad soundtrack in the
forever.
background.
The monster brandishes its weapon, readying to strike the final blow. Having lost all those precious to you, you close your eyes and resign yourself to your fate.
Yeah.
When you open your eyes, you see the gravely wounded beast on the ground. You also see a boy, who you assume is the one who struck down the monster. "You okay?" he asks. In a faint voice, you ask him who he is. "I'm here to save you," he answers as he helps you to your feet. "Come on. This place is about to collapse," he says, then pulls you along. Maybe it's the shock, but you think you hear Ram, crushed under the debris, whisper, "Go."
And now we have the mysterious boy, and now we have to escape the village.
The old woman has already breathed her last. No longer will those warm eyes ever look upon you.
Everybody in the village is basically
The
dead.
girl has already breathed her last. No longer will you feel her little hand hold yours. The young man has already breathed his last. No longer will that cheerful voice ever call out to you. Your home, your village, your family. Memories of your life underground flood your mind. You remember the old man, who was such a worrywart, but only because he loved the village more than anyone else. You remember the little girl who always asked you to play with her. You remember the regrettably unreliable but undeniably kind-hearted young man. You remember the wise old woman who taught you all manner of things. Your heart aches for your mother, who loved you more than anyone.
Sweet little girl, you must live. Yeah, everybody is wearing a lot of belts. Allie especially. He wears a lot of belts. But, I mean, it's probably because they had to fashion a lot of their clothes from scraps. Since they all live underground.
We're almost at the surface, the mysterious boy says. You don't know if you can trust him, but you have nowhere else to go. Though your legs are unstable, you keep moving forward, unsure what awaits.
Alright, now it's the prologue. Happy birthday, Allie! Hope your 14th birthday was a great one. Fucking hell, what a way to start off this game. Yeah, you just turned 14, your mother gives you a stuffed plushie, you figure you're just gonna live a normal 14-year-old girl's little life, and your village immediately gets pushed underground ever since you were young, learning to fight and fend off against monsters, and then you come back just to watch everybody die before you, including your own mother. What a way to have a 14th birthday. Thanks, Yokotaro. Alright, on to chapter 1. Same thing with the previous other games. 7 chapters to go through.
You lay eyes on the surface for the first time in your life. Captivated by the endless sands before you, you scoop up a handful. Just then, the passage leading to your village collapses. Your family, friends, and even Ram are all buried in the sand now. You fall to your knees, overcome with grief. The boy stares at you, watching as you sob until you can barely breathe. Once you've calmed, he speaks. "Let's go," he says, then begins walking. The boy stands before some sort of wreckage. It appears to be the remains of some mode of desert transportation that was destroyed by a sandstorm. Whatever was inside of it seems to be missing, too. "Can you walk?" he asks you. For the first time, you realize just how thirsty you are. You shake your head, and the boy tells you of an oasis to the west. "Try not to faint before then," he says curtly.
We're going to head along these rocks to the oasis.
Once you arrive, both you and the boy scoop water out of the oasis to quench your parched throats. You swallow, hoping to ease the dryness in your throat, and cast your hollow eyes at the sky. "I can't see the stars," you murmur. "Of course you can't," he replies. "The sun never sets here. In a world without night, stars are merely a thing of fairy tales." When you ask the boy where he's going, his answer is short. To get revenge. Revenge. A darkness finds its way into your once hollow eyes. You stifle the unusual feeling welling up inside of you and whisper, "I want to live a peaceful life." "Are you okay with that?" the boy asks. You're not, and your body trembles in rage just remembering what happened. "Follow me," he says, then extends a hand to you.
Yep, another Yogotaro roller coaster ride. This one starts off real dark real fast.
You take it. The boy says he's heading to Steelborough in the north to find a means to exact his revenge. You decide to head that way with him.
Yeah, 14-year-old girl just turned. Got given her first plushie by her mother, and then immediately has her entire village wiped out by monsters. And you watch as your mother bleeds out on the floor of your own home as you're forced to escape. The games just teach you guys about the different types of dice and the rolls. Happy birthday, Allie! Best 14th birthday ever. Anyways, we're gonna pick up some items along the way. And then we're gonna head north here, and we're gonna be picking up some money as well. Oops.
You can't cross...
So, yeah, we can't cross any quicksand or anything like that.
Battle time.
Yeah, this whole game starts off with the premise being set up for Allie having everybody she knows, loves, and cares about being killed on her 14th birthday as a revenge story at the first. So the other thing is we're gonna go to the Oasis here and head north. Oops. I need to... There is a chest that we need to get. The money. RNG in this game is going to be a lot more difficult than the previous games, just because of the way that we acquire resources, abilities, and things like that. And we'll get into some details about that shortly. But the other thing is that we're way more gibbed on resources, money, and things like that, and the ability to get such things. So we're in Steelborough now.
You find yourself in awe of the large and lively town, a far cry from where you came from. As you stand wide-eyed in wonder, the boy says, "Follow me," and walks off. You finally catch up to the boy. Apparently tired of waiting for you, he grabs your hand and pulls you into the grandiose building. In front of the boy stand several masked elders. "I brought her," he says, briefly introducing you. "Very well. You may go," they tell him curtly. As he passes, he whispers to you that these people are members of the town's governing body, the Senate. "We are the ones who told him to bring you here," one of the senators explains in pompous tones. "It appears, for whatever reason, they have need of you."
I'm going to talk to the senators.
The senator refers to you as a subterran. According to legend, those who live beneath the surface have the power to subjugate monsters. He says they have need of that power. The senator explains the town's situation to you. The people of Steelborough have been living by the grace of a mighty monster known as the Steel Primal that inhabits the mines. But in recent years, that beast has begun to rampage. The senator explains that due to the Primal's influence, other monsters have been growing violent. "It may be why your village was attacked," he says with an exaggerated frown. The three senators ask you to use your powers to subdue the Steel Primal. You find the senators to be haughty and the whole situation unpleasant. But in order to exact your revenge on the monsters who destroyed your home, you want more information. "If it means getting revenge, I'll do it," you say. Still, you have no idea how to use your so-called powers to subjugate beasts. Just then, one of the senators speaks. "According to legend, you need special tools to activate your powers." Summoned by the senator, the boy presents you with new clothes and a weapon. He also hands you a bundle of papers that look like cards. You take them as told. It looks like you're ready, a senator says, and a monster in a steel cage is brought in.
That's a nice new outfit. Much better than those rags of belts we were wearing.
Now, Subterran, show us your powers, they all but command. Though surprised by the sudden turn of events, you take your weapon in hand.
So there's a foresight that we have to do here.
You defeat the beast with ease. And then, the cards you were handed earlier begin to glow, and the light envelops the monster. The senators explain that you can now summon the beast and use it in battle. With a trembling hand, you raise the card with the monster sealed inside it. Just like the legend, the senators exclaim with joy. I expected nothing less.
So part of the
You
game's
fix your
mechanics
gaze
here
on the
is to be
card.
able to summon monsters to fight
If
for
only
us.
I had this power before, my village wouldn't have. Having witnessed your power, the senators order you to make for the mines northwest of town. One of them hands you some money for your journey. Seeing you gaze at the money with a curious expression, the boy explains. Above ground, we use this to buy things and pay people to work. Having lived your whole life beneath the surface, you don't quite understand the coin he's given you. But you can tell it's not much. The senators then summon the boy and give you both an edict. Defeat the steel primal in the mines and seize its power. With that, you and the boy make your way toward the monster's den.
Alright, yeah, so our first task is immediately to go kill a primal, and there's many of them that we'll have to take care of.
You're ready to set off toward the mines and defeat the primal. But I have an errand to run, the boy tells you. You can do some shopping while you wait. And without further ado, he walks away. You despair for a moment, having never gone shopping before. But with nothing else to do, you set out in search of shops.
So, like, the main form of getting stuff here is, like, abilities is going to be capturing monsters, which is another RNG mechanic that we have to put up with.
You enter a store and see dozens upon dozens of monsters. You quickly ready your weapon for a fight. Just then, the shopkeeper rushes out. "Stop," he exclaims. "Wait." He claims that the monsters are for sale. Upon closer inspection, you realize that they are bound by chains.
You can keep them as pets, put them to work, or cook them in a stew. The possibilities are endless, so what would you like?
Something about the conversation leaves you feeling icky, so you turn to leave. But you realize that you could harness your subterran power to control the monsters.
Alright, so
After you enter the shop, you realize you have no clue what to do next. Not long after, the shopkeeper comes over to speak to you. You tell him that you don't understand how shopping works. Though initially surprised, the man patiently explains all you need to know. He then asks if there is anything you would like to buy and shows you his wares.
So we're going to be buying some skills throughout the run. Hopefully not many, because I would like to get them as drops. But that's RNG. So we're going to be buying the slime skill to give us access to poison. And we're going to be going to other shops here before we leave. We're going to go to the item shop next as well. Which is here.
What can I help you with? The shopkeep asks.
We're going to be buying a couple bills of good fortune. We want... How many of these do we want? 10 of these. And these are going to help us with the success rate of getting drops.
Inquires.
And then the other thing is that we're going to finish talking to the rest of the establishment.
The boy sees your
people in the
eyes
village
darting about and laughs. What? Are you a country bumpkin or something? Country bumpkin. You repeat his words curiously. You can't be serious, he exclaims in bewilderment. You see a woman stuffing her mouth with something delectable and ask her what she's eating. This is just normal bread, she answers. Just normal bread? You repeat curiously. What can I help you with? The shopkeep asks.
Okay, can buy anything from here this early? Well, and kind of. Ideally, we buy like a steel blade. We do not have the money at the moment. But we'll be getting stuff
the
later.
Shopkeep inquires.
We're going to be relying mostly on RNG and stuff.
Hey there, miss. How about a pretty hairpin? I think it'd suit you perfectly, a man calls out to you. He seems to be some sort of merchant. Knowing that you cannot waste your precious money, you scurry away. You see a woman holding a parasol and can't help but wonder what it's for.
So once you finish going to all the establishments and stuff, talking to the villagers, then we can continue with the story.
The game parlor, then you hear the boy at the counter call to you, "Let's play cards." You enter the inn, and the proprietor says, "Guest of the Senate, right? I can't take your money then. Looks like you don't need to pay to rest here." You step out of the inn, feeling rested and ready. The boy returns, wiping his hands on his clothes. You wonder if his errand was just a simple trip to the restroom. The time has finally come to fight the primal. The gatekeep, having gotten official notice from the senators, allows you to pass. As you walk, the boy asks, "Do you think I can summon the monsters in the cards too?" Unsure yourself, you decide to test it right away.
We're going to take the auto equip here. so that we can immediately start equipping skills. Equip Poison Sledge to Valley, and then we're going to equip the... Oh, sorry. We're going to equip Slice with the Wolf Chomp on Curious Boy.
I guess you could just let the monster go, he remarks.
Let it go. Why would I ever want to do that?
Faced with your hate-filled denial, he murmurs, right.
Alright, so on the northeast, there's going to be a chest that we want to pick up before we head into the first dungeon of the game.
A bizarre rock appeared. It seems primed. The bizarre
That is
rock
very lucky.
transformed
Okay,
into a gold
thank
rock.
you. First time a random event has actually been useful. Okay, well, that sets us up to have an easier start. Although we can't necessarily rely on that 100% of the time. Because usually things don't go that well. So we're gonna head back in. We're gonna immediately buy the weapon. Not that it'll last for too long, but it'll be helpful. This is the first time in the game that I've actually got a good RNG start here, so we have a weapon this early, which will be extremely helpful against the boss coming up. Also, we can actually afford equipment. Uh, 1,000 gold that I normally wouldn't have at this point, so we're going to just make use of it. Alright, so this will hopefully make the first real boss pretty easy for us going forward, because normally we wouldn't have this money. I'm going to take advantage of it, because this game is really bad with RNG, and it could rear its ugly head at any moment's notice. Especially once we get deeper into Chapter 1 and further into the game.
Battle.
Because the odds of me getting the exact skill setups for every single run exactly the same is slim to none, because there's so much RNG in the skill drops that you can get, and whether or not they get upgraded and things like that. There's some forced fights where you get certain chances at things, and this is a good pickup, so we got a level 2 skill right there, which will be pretty handy. And that's why we bought the Bills of Fortune, to help with the RNG a little bit when it comes to certain fights. So we kind of want to take advantage of that where we can against certain monsters. So this is going to be one of those instances where we want to try to use our skills to set up. We do want to take as many of the early fights as possible, much like all the other games. So we can kind of set up ourselves with experience and money. And then the next thing I want to do is use a Bill of Fortune here, because I want to try to get a drop off these two enemies, particularly the boost on damage from the enemy there on the right. Well, missed it on that. Essentially what it does is just give me a 70% chance to get a drop out of the fight, but no idea, not very easy to figure out what drop you're going to get, because you get 3 options and you don't know what the options are until they happen. And this is a guaranteed fight here. And we'll get the heal skill.
For some reason, the monster doesn't attack. It just stares at you, silently.
have liked to get the level 2, but that's fine. And then we're gonna immediately set up our skills. So we're gonna give +4 damage, heal on here. And we're going to order our skills a little bit here. Alright, so now that we have that set up, we're gonna ride a minecart to an item.
What's this? You ask. The boy tells you it's a mine cart. Seeing the intrigue glimmer in your eyes, the boy says, walking is a pain, so we might as well get in.
But we're gonna ride this minecart to get an Omnisalve. Alright, so we have another chance to get a drop off here. And again, trying to take advantage of these Bills of Fortune early. We're not really going to be buying any more at all. They're rather expensive, so I'm be putting our money to better uses. So we got good luck with that event with the rock that exploded that allowed us to get 1,000 free gold at the start of the run, which is huge.
A mass...
We're gonna return back to the minecart here. We do have restricted camera in here. Hold on. Right to minecart. We got our first skill here, which is a big deal. Don't care too much about that right now. Gonna enter deeper into the mines here. We're gonna follow the north path here. We're gonna ride the minecart once we get out of here into getting a 500 gold nugget.
Beautiful.
Appreciate the good luck. Let's just hope happenstance and the RNG plays in our favor, especially in the early parts of the run. It is probably the most crucial.
This would have been so handy to have back home, you whisper to yourself. Anything that needed to be moved was done so by hand. by everyone's hands. The boy quietly lends an ear as you reminisce of your village. It sounds like you were all one big family, he comments. You nod, a little teary-eyed.
That's why I have to avenge them.
You realize that you've been the only one talking, and ask the boy to tell you about his own past. But the boy simply shrugs you off. I don't see the point, he says, somewhat sadly.
Okay, and then we're going to ride the minecart back. We're gonna ride this one. And that's gonna bring us to an invigorant, which might come in handy. If you don't use it, we'll probably end up selling it for money. Alright, so we're going to pop another Bill of Good Fortune. So if we can get some early skills, that'll give us the chance to have a little bit more options, especially going into the first boss. Because we don't get other party members until we get into Chapter 2 at the moment. Defense down is nice to see, but ideally I would have liked the turtle skill there. It is. And we're gonna head back. Then take the path above the minecart west into a mandatory fight. I don't need to do anything here. Alright, so this will be a scripted fight, as I mentioned, against this centaur here.
Monsters block your path. Knowing you need to press on, you and the boy decide to strike them down.
So these scripted fights are the only ones where we're guaranteed to get certain skills out of them. Ideally, we want to get the centaur's skill, but it's not a guarantee that we even get that one in particular. So worst case scenario, we get the damage buff. Ideally would be the one that we want to be other than the centaur's skill, but preferably the centaur's skill. Very strong early.
That's how it's...
Okay. Didn't get the Centaur skill, but we got the damage up. It's not necessarily that bad. So we need to hit this lever in a sec, so that we can swap the minecart paths.
A large lever protrudes from a fixture in the ground. What might it control, you wonder? You heave the lever over to the other side. You hear rails squeaking somewhere off in the distance as they slide into place.
So now we're going to do some equipment on our skills again. Alright, so we have Intimidate. It's fine. We're going to take the damage boost here on Allie. We can have these skills all equipped. And then we're going to give the defense down and the poison. We're going to give the defense down and the poison over here to our mysterious boy. And the nice thing about this is you can set up your skills however you need across characters, so there's a lot more utility to setting up your characters. So that comes in handy. And now we can head back this way and then ride this minecart back up. Another encounter up here that we're going to be forced into, and this is a chance for us to get a level 3 version of comp. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the end game is not necessarily as bad as the second game. It's the early and certain couple points throughout the run when we're dealing with the primals that is the concern. So we'll see how those play out. So we'll see how chapter 1 and goes, and see how things kind of pace out through the rest run. Okay, we got the level 3, which is good. So it's 9 flat damage instead of 7 now. You would only give us 1 extra flat damage. Well, that is very nice to see. So I just upgraded that ability for us. And the other thing is, too, if we miss out on skills and we have to eventually go buy them if we have the money, we can only buy level 1 versions of skills. So, and they're very expensive, I will add to that as well. So, ideally, we don't buy that many skills. And we get skills that we want to be using. But there's no guarantee. And if we get duplicates and it's not the higher version, then we just don't get the level up on the skill, unfortunately. Alright, so we have the boss coming up. I'm going to make sure that we're all good. Yeah, so we're pretty much full HP. We're going to set up a safety save just in case. Making sure I save over the correct file. Yep. This will be our first boss.
A sinister beast rears its head. It appears to be the Steel Primal. The monster seems enraged and has lost its senses. "It's all your fault," you exclaim, brandishing your weapon at the beast.
This is humans' fault.
The primal unleashes a roar, then lunges at you.
Just as the other games, music is very good and enjoyable. So hopefully you'll appreciate that, along with the voice of Karen Gilfrey here, who is our game master for this game. Alright, so we're gonna want to buff here. And then set up to deal damage. She has 13. We're gonna go for a poison. And hopefully it lands. If not, the higher level poison skill would make the roll for it be a lot lower. So it gives us more of a gap here. Yeah, Gilfrey does an amazing job, personally. Got poison. You can very much lose the battle to attrition here against him. And this attack hurts a lot. So we're gonna heal up. And with the passive ability that we got from the passive ability that we got on Ally, we get the bonus on the healing as well, so it's pretty handy. So everything's gonna land on a 1, so we want to avoid any rolls for right now, because it's just guaranteed to miss. And since we have the attack down, it's just better to use Chomp here. It's only gonna deal 1 damage anyways.
Get ready.
Alright, so we need to defend here on this next coming attack, or else we will possibly die. So that is a nice thing, is defending in this game. Whereas the last game, when you passed your turn, you would just generate a gem. In this game, if you defend, you take reduced damage by half. So defending is very much a survivability option that we have access to, compared to the previous games. But gaining gems is a bit harder overall, I would say.
Beautiful.
So we're just relying on happenstance to kind of help us out here. We're gonna heal our companion. And then we're gonna try to get a debuff here. It'll be pretty hard because rolling a 6 is incredibly difficult this early on any of the skills. We're gonna go for a buff. We can boost our damage. But we have access to a lot of damage right now. Very nice. I think it's going to land on a 1, so again, we're just not going to go for any rolls. Alright. Boss down. So 1,000 gold made this boss fight so much easier. Like, normally that fight is a bit of a nail-biter this early, especially without healing items. But, yeah, that 1,000 gold from that random event was
successfully
huge.
defeat the beast and capture it in a card. Your breathing is ragged after having avenged your village. Let's report back, the boy says, and the two of you return to Steelborough. If you choose leave, you'll be whisked outside right away.
Alright, thank you, Gilfrey.
You
Take me away.
decide to leave the mines behind right away.
We're gonna jump back to town. We're gonna immediately set up skills again. We want to put on the Mysterious Boy. We want to put Steel Punisher. And head back into town. And And then we're gonna head back into the hall.
The senators await your return at Steel Hall. When you tell them you have defeated the Primal, they demand you give them the card. Why? You ask, not liking their tone. We're declaring war on the neighboring town, they tell you. The Primal's power will ensure our victory. Fighting beasts is hard enough. And now they want to fight other humans? I'm keeping the card, you say decisively. One of the men then turns to the boy and shouts, "Get that card." As ordered, the boy pushes you and takes the Steel Primal's card. When you try to take the card back, he pushes you once more. "What are you doing?" one of the senators roars. "Give me that card this instant." He approaches the boy, and then... The senators, taken aback, demand to know what the boy is doing. "Getting revenge," he answers with a twisted grin. "Did you forget who took you in, you fool?" one senator demands fiercely. The boy spits and glares at the men.
I haven't forgotten. You took me in, treated me like an animal.
So he's getting revenge for the horrible things the senators have done to him. "I'm a human being," he shouts, before killing every last one of them.
And they're dead. By Senate.
At your shocked expression, the boy says, "They didn't deserve to live." He explains that the Primal only became enraged after the senators attempted to claim its power. He also tells you that it was those same senators that sent the monsters to your village. It was all a ploy to get the Sub-Terran's power to control monsters. Faced with the truth, you find yourself at a loss for words. "People will come after us. Let's go," he says, then pulls you along.
Yeah, so it turns out the Senate ruined our 14th birthday. And killed our mother and our entire village, friends, and family.
"We'll take a sand skiff and flee," he tells you. He claims there are plenty of them in Steelborough.
Go down to the sand skiffs.
Just as the boy said, there are several sand skiffs at the entrance. "Let's take one. Hurry," he says, running toward the boats. You scramble after him. Before you can board the boat, you stumble. "What are you doing?" the boy demands. Though his tone is harsh, he helps you up. Just then, guards from the city catch up to you and attack.
Alright, so another forced encounter here.
Get him!
Alright, so we're gonna buff. Yeah, Grand Theft Galleon. Gonna go for attacking them. Good crit. Got to level up in a free heal, so that's always good.
Destroy the other boats so they can't come after us, he instructs.
So we're going to destroy the other sand skiffs.
You summon the Steel Primal, who easily crushes all the sand skiffs. They are squashed flat. This is the only vessel that can still move. Let's go. You and the boy board the boat, then make your way out of town. According to the boy, these boats can traverse quicksand, which is impossible on foot. Meaning, if you can get across some, your pursuers won't be able to follow. There's a large swath of it to the east. We'll lose them there, he says.
Alright, so we're going to be heading over there, but before we do that, we gotta go pick up a couple of things before we leave. We're going to be trying not to backtrack as much as possible. And then there's going to be a bill of godly fortune over here. We want to grab that as well. And that guarantees a drop out of a fight. Specifically out of random encounters, so we'll be using those on very specific fights if we come across them. But otherwise, we're going to be holding on to those ones and then using the ones that we bought earlier instead.
You plunge the sand skiff over the quicksand, then cautiously look around. It seems you've managed to shake your pursuers. The boy returns the Steel Primal card to you. I'm sorry for using it, he says. You take the card back from him. What do we do now? You whisper. You've both gotten your revenge. Neither of you had any plans beyond that. He turns to you and asks, "Isn't there anything you want to do?" "How about you?" you question back. The boy gives a somewhat sad laugh.
Haven't really thought about it. I've just been busy trying to stay alive.
You place your hand to your chest and wonder what you want to do.
And we're going to try to see the stars.
You suddenly remember the dream you confessed to your plush animal. I want to see the stars, you say. It's been your dream since you were young. The boy nods. I'll show you the most beautiful stars in the world, he says, then extends a hand to you. You take it.
I look forward to our adventure.
Le goal, he says. Where your journey to avenge your village ends, a new one with Le goal begins.
Alright, so we know his name is Legol now, and that officially ends Chapter 1. And now we get to start Chapter 2. Yeah, so that accelerated with that 1,000 gold drop off that random event. With that rock. Especially because we rolled the 6. That 1,000 gold is huge. That accelerated the early game for us quite a bit. Because normally we wouldn't have the weapon upgrade on Allie at this point. So we'd be down quite a bit of damage potential. And that also means that we will have extra money and things going into this next chapter, because we're going to be getting some more gear. But yeah, we're pretty starved for money, resources, and getting our skills and abilities, since it's very much comes down to RNG. Outside of the usual happenstance in the combat situations that we're going to get into.
Several days after you escape Steelborough, Legol helps you row aimlessly through the desert. Either one of you is liable to pass out at any moment. The sand skiff you stole as you fled the city has proven handy for getting around, but there isn't a scrap of food nor a drop of water aboard. You probably should have had more of a plan, you think to yourself. The two of you row in complete silence. You fear if you make so much as a peep, the sheer effort involved will cause you to collapse. You propel the boat forward with all your might, when suddenly, a patch of quicksand swallows your sand skiff whole. Where are we? You look around, trying to figure out where the quicksand has spit you out. At the very least, your tight grip on the boat has prevented you from getting separated from Legol. But in a desert this vast and empty, there's no telling how far the quicksand might have taken you. We better find some water, Legol grumbles, shaking sand out of every possible crevice. His comment snaps you out of your bewilderment. You nod at him and begin searching your surroundings for potable water. Unfortunately, your legs are less cooperative. They may as well be made of lead.
Alright, so been restricted on our movement
You're
ability.
so thirsty, even the act of breathing feels painful.
And we're gonna head this way.
The sun's rays beat down upon you. It's so hot. You need water. Your head is killing you. You lift your head. There before you, impossibly, walks Ram, your plush animal. No. You shake your head. That isn't real. There, Legol croaks. Your eyes follow his outstretched finger and land upon an oasis. Adrenaline takes hold. You both run toward the oasis and watch as it dissipates. Alas, it was a mirage.
Alright, so that was a mirage.
As consciousness threatens to forsake you, you catch sight of a young man. You've come at a very good time, he chirps.
Water first.
Ah, so you seek the compound formed from hydrogen and oxygen, he says excitedly, launching into the beginning of a very long speech. His words flow as quickly as the quicksand that brought you here. Legol musters every last ounce of his strength to try and interrupt the torrent of babble, when suddenly, a monster's cry issues from behind the youth. You see, I was about to be attacked by foul beasts, the youth says, beaming. Yes, you've come at a very good time indeed, he chirps again, which must be his way of asking for your help. You certainly haven't the strength to escape. Looks like you're in for a fight.
Alright, so this would be another opportunity to get the level up on Chomp if we didn't already have it.
Beautiful. Calling upon the steel primal helped you fell the monsters. But before you can catch your breath, "What on earth was that?" the youth says, rushing up behind you from his vantage point for the battle. He peppers you with questions and comments in his breathless style. "That was the steel primal, wasn't it? The fact that you can control it means you're one of the fabled I had no idea you actually existed. Well, if today isn't my lucky day, if you don't mind, I have deduced that the card you're holding here is the key to controlling them, but beyond that, Ugh. Whew. This guy sure can talk." He pays your pained expression no mind as he carries on, finally realizing that he has yet to introduce himself. The young man's name is Polka, and he's on a long, winding journey in pursuit of monsters to study. As if you hadn't heard enough, he asks if you'd like to hear an explanation about the primals.
Water!
You make another desperate plea for water. Polka, however, hasn't even done you the courtesy of waiting for an answer. He's already chattering away about the primals. There are 3 kinds, he tells you at breakneck speed. In addition to the steel primal, there exists a fire primal and a frost primal. And all are powerful enough to cause changes in their natural environment because of reasons. Unfortunately, your fevered brain can parse no more of his blathering. "Look, we helped you, so give us some water already," Legol barks, clearly out of patience. Finally, Polka closes his mouth for the first time since you've met. He looks rather contrite. For he, too, has no water on his person.
What?
You stare at him, speechless. "You know, I'm actually rather thirsty," he says, and collapses into the sand. Clearly, his was a thirst brought on by incessant blabbering rather than fleeing from monsters. You both look at Polka's crumpled form, and then at one another.
We're done for.
Mind and body pushed well beyond their limits, the two of you finally surrender to sweet, sweet unconsciousness.
Yeah, Polka's a very interesting character, although my favorite character is still coming up soon. And I love her to bits.
You awaken to find yourself lying down inside a tent. Startled, you leap to your feet. "Well, you seem much better," a woman says sweetly as she enters. She says she found the 3 of you collapsed in the desert and nursed you back to health. You thank her and quickly ask where she's taken Legol. She tells you Legol woke up not long before. He and Polka are at a stall outside. You exit the tent to find several more lined up before you. It looks like you've been picked up by a caravan. You arrive at the stall to find Legol and Polka devouring food as if it were a competition.
Nom nom. I feel reborn. Oh, you're going to eat that, Legol? Because I sure will. Please, at least spare me your blathering at mealtime.
You heave a sigh of relief upon seeing them alive and well. Legol notices you as he reaches for a bit of food. He stays his hand and instead beckons you over. "Get in on this," he says between bites. You approach the table, casually lift up a plate bearing a mountain of food, and proceed to tilt the entire platter toward your mouth. Having eaten and drank your fill, you offer thanks for the meal. According to Legol and Polka, a stout man treated them to their meal at the stall earlier. You find the man hurrying about busily and thank him for the meal. "Ah, you're all awake," he says with a satisfied nod. He introduces himself as the circus's ringmaster and explains that they're on a tour of the desert. As someone fascinated by the circus, you'd always wanted to talk with a ringmaster. It's your lucky day. Before you speak so much as a syllable, the caravan is beset by monsters. You all draw your weapons and prepare for a fight. Polka barges into battle unannounced. "I too shall fight," he proclaims. Legol asks if he can fight, to which Polka replies that it comes with the territory when one studies monsters. You're in for a world of hurt if you underestimate science, because science makes medicine, and you shouldn't underestimate that, Polka rambles, drawing his weapon. You take up arms shoulder to shoulder with Polka and prepare to fight.
So we have an encounter here. Okay, so Polka can only generate, which is fine. He's going to be more of a supportive character for now.
The ringmaster thanks you profusely for defeating the monsters. It seems the countless monster attacks are to blame for scattering his troop to the winds. He's at a loss for what to do. You notice, however, that the number of sighs he's peppered his story with feels very intentional. He looks your way rather bashfully. You suspect he wants your help. "Of course we'll help you," Polka blurts out before you can answer. "But the three of you expect fair compensation for the effort," he adds slyly. Polka turns to you and Legol, grinning from ear to ear. "Let's get going," he chirps excitedly.
What?
Did you misunderstand him? You replay the conversation in your head. Alas, no. It seems you understood perfectly. And just like that, you and Legol have been roped into helping too. Legol objects, only to be drowned out by Polka's contemporaneous rebuttal. A treatise on the value of money and friendship in travel. And so it goes that you, Legol, and Polka end up combing the desert for lost circus troopers.
We have our third party member now. Great. We're going to go ahead on to the armorer And we're gonna go ahead and buy equipment. We don't have to buy the steel blades since we already have them, but we do need to buy the mercenary sword. Put that on the goal. And then we're going to go ahead and buy the magic staff for Polka. And normally we wouldn't be able to buy Polka's staff, but saved money because we didn't have to buy Allie's weapon. And then we're gonna head out. We're gonna go pick up some money as we go look for the circus troupe. Grab that. We're gonna head southwest around the bend here.
Polka looks through the telescope and yelps in surprise.
And just like all the
There's
other
magic
events, we're just
monster.
gonna kind of skip
It's a
through these and
monster.
ignore them.
It's also pretty far away, though. You decide to leave it be.
Unless
and
there are ones that we
continue
can't
on your
avoid.
way.
I come down here to get another chest.
You take notice of an insect's buzzing, and Polka breaks out in a sweat. You're the one who's out to get revenge. You tell yourself this as you flee, not wanting to risk a fight with such a fearsome foe.
Okay, so now we can examine the tent.
You see a lone tent pitched in the middle of the desert. You approach it and peer inside, but nobody's home. Surely a circus performer must be around here somewhere.
Help!
A mysterious voice calls from who knows where. You look around once more, but see no signs of life. There it is again, clearer this time. You turn and look behind you.
Help!
There's a severed head in the sand. Or at least, it looks severed. But it's alive? The head frantically beseeches you for aid. Apparently it hid in the sand during a monster attack and could not free itself afterward. You all grab hold and pull in an attempt to dislodge the perhaps not disembodied head. And wouldn't you know it, it was attached to a young man who performs in the circus.
I also like they use the cork popping sound off a bottle for pulling them out.
He helpfully informs you that there are 2 others who were separated from the troupe during the attacks. He says they too may have hidden or otherwise disguised themselves. You resume your search, eyes primed to pick out anything unusual.
Alright, so just below there's a chest here.
There's a strange sound coming from this treasure chest. You open it to find a very alive young boy from the circus inside. "You saved me," he pants. "I was about to suffocate in there." The boy makes a beeline for his fellow performer's tent.
Back up here to the north. Active.
This cactus doesn't look unusual at first glance. You reach out and touch it, but it wiggles? Whoa, it's actually a woman from the circus. You saw right through my disguise. I'm impressed, she says with a confident smile. She hurries back to her fellow performer's tent. Having found the remaining 2 performers the young man mentioned, you return to his tent. He thanks you warmly and makes way for the ringmaster's waiting caravan.
Alright, so we're gonna head on up here. It's a guaranteed event for a side quest that we'll need.
You pull it loose, revealing a somewhat tarnished bangle. That might be the bangle capable of freeing the Sand Prowler Czar, Polka blurts out. To hear Polka tell it, the Sand Prowler Czar was a monster that once ruled this region through fear and despair. And he's careful to note that some monsters still revere this Czar. Well, legend has it that the Sand Prowler Czar is sealed in the sand ruins, Polka explains. If Polka's telling the truth, then you're holding something pretty dangerous.
We're gonna keep it?
You figure it can't hurt to keep something so potentially valuable and slip it into your pack. You sense another long polka lecture coming and start walking. You hear the sound of feet hurriedly whooshing through the sand as he tries to catch up. Those were just his feet, right? Yeah, had to be.
Get the poison stay ring. And then we're gonna go ahead and do some equipment. We're gonna set up. Right. So we want to set up a goal with the quick stay ring. Oh, we don't have. Excuse me? Oh yeah, we don't have that yet. One sec. Get that.
The monster mutters under its breath as it closes in and lunges at you. To battle!
Yeah. So you get out of this fight. We have the poison stay ring. I need to go back and talk to
The great Czar, our leader, the monster hisses with its last breath. You remove the tarnished bangle from your pack. From everything you've heard, the Czar is a frighteningly powerful monster. Were it to be revived, we have to kill it, you say bluntly.
anyways, we're gonna head into the sand ruins.
You happen upon a tent pitched in front of some ruins. Might there be another performer within? Why, yes. The young girl you see before you may well be one of the performers, but she's rather tearful at the moment. Are you with the circus? Polka asks gently. The girl nods. Yes, beast tamer. Circus, she says through her tears, before begging for your help.
Partner! Big monster! Swallowed! Went it that way!
Wading through the fragmented words, you gather that a monster swallowed her performing partner and ran off. She goes on to lament that this is all her fault. We have to help her. Polka says softly. He declares that he cannot abide turning away from someone who's been separated from someone they care for. You're inclined to agree with him. So long as there are lives to be saved, you'll fight to save them.
Sweet girl, you must live.
Are you okay? Legol asks carefully, sensing that you're in pain. You nod and begin walking toward the ruins.
Alright, so now that we got the bangle for the bit of a side quest that we're going to be doing in here, we're going to go ahead and head northeast on the entrance to go get the ring that I was thought I'd already picked up.
Battle time.
And we're going to try to get some skills while we're in here to help us out. But we have more stuff to equip to our characters.
Beautiful.
Okay. Place is pretty big too.
To battle.
These enemies having access to paralyze is not great, but there's not much to be about that at the moment. Heal here. Oh.
Battle time.
And we have a chance to get the Centaur skill when the guy shows up. Could be worth trying to go for that with the skills that we have. I'm gonna get rid of her first since she has a wee skill. Have it up damage to I mean, Suitstone's nice. It would have been nice to get the skill though. No way to know. Don't paralyze Allie, please. buff.
A masterful vic.
Oh, that's so trolly. What? Oh, game. Why you be that mean? We got the ring that we needed. Okay, now we can up our equipment. We want the Dark Stay ring, full. We want the Poison Stay ring. Here. Bump damage. And we want to yeah, I mean, fine. Okay, next thing we need to do is some skills. Want to put some stuff on Polka here. Give him some give him all of the support stuff for now. Polka's not really going to be used damage, you know. What I'm going to do is swap rings as well. We don't have enough damage. That to Alley. To actually have the a lot of the routing in this game is also going to be mostly on the fly. Even if you have notes and stuff, you're not going to be following things too, because of the RNG that you have to do with the setups. No telling like what we might have access to. And then go west, there's a bellwether, but we don't need that. So we're just going to keep following the path on the northwest here. So we're gonna heal. Allie has the heal bonus, which...
Wait a minute, Polka says suddenly. He begins tapping on the wall in several places, listening intently as he does so. There's nothing behind this wall, he says, pointing at one section of it. Not one to wait for permission, Legol strikes the section of wall with all his might. And what do you know? Polka was right. The wall concealed a hidden chamber. That's a scientist for you, Polka boasts, puffing out his chest. Science is awesome, you reply, jaw slack with wonder.
Here, grab this chest. So I
Battle
really
time.
like the Centaur skill. Generate. Or, sorry, Polka. Blood will take down the end. You get rid of the paralyzed guy first. We're gonna go for another bill. Increase our odds. Don't troll me this time. Oh. Man, we're not getting good luck. I mean, we got a healing item, which is okay. Not ideal, though.
Battle time.
I'll have a chance at some guaranteed skills coming up, but ideally I want only one of the... Ideally, there's like one of them that we want, but I wouldn't mind the other one as well. So, we want to try to get a skill called Frenzy or Galestorm, preferably Galestorm level 2. Get through here. Well, there's a chance that Galestorm won, but getting a lot of useless items right now that aren't gonna too beneficial to us in the run. Heal. Paralyzed guy first. And try to keep everybody above 20 if possible. Okay, Absorb would have been nice to have, but I got a different skill. Chest over here that we want. Have more healing, and then we're gonna head down into 4. Head to the right.
To battle.
Mattered what we really got there.
Polka stops you. Wait a moment. That wall looks suspect. he says, before giving it a solid thwack. Legol shakes his head. We should just break it down. He hits it with all his might. And with that, the wall crumbles, revealing, to your surprise, a hidden passage.
Alright, so we're gonna head south here into an ambush.
You attempt to open the chest when suddenly a band of cackling monsters appears from the shadows. It looks like they were using this chest as bait. They waste no time in surrounding you and attacking.
This is the fight where you get either Frenzy or Galestorm possibly from. But we can get Frenzy up to level 2 or Galestorm up to level 2, depending on how the RNG goes.
Battle time.
Man, I really love the music. Unfortunate,
Fear
but
not.
it's fine. Okay, we're getting more gems than we have to spend on skills. Not very helpful to have this many gems and not be able to make use of them right now. Really needy. Really wish Allie didn't die there, but not much I can do about that. I ain't gonna waste an elixir. I need those for primal fights and other bosses that we have to deal with. Alright, we got Frenzy 1.
Having defeated the monsters, you decide to try opening the chest. And when you do, you find inside a key of seemingly little value. All the same, Polka picks it up and tucks it away, a pleased look on his face. One never knows when a key could come in handy. Let's take it just in case.
Alright, so got Purple on HP, so we need to set up skills again. Okay, so 1.5 times damage, put that there. You want to give damage, we can give that to a gold. And we can Polka now take skill. And we can what are we taking off here? We're gonna take the vent down. And that's all we need to do for now. And we're gonna head directly north. into another ambush. This is where we're going to use the tarnished bangle that we picked up a bit earlier. And since Polka is basically going to be last in order for the most part, well, I mean, he's pretty fast actually, so he generally gets to go first as well, so. Either last or first makes him more likely that we'll have the gems if he's set up correctly for him to be able to use Steel Primal. That's why we put it on him.
You come across a weathered stone monument. The letters S-A-A-R are written on it. And there's a hollow where something clearly used to rest. The area around the stone monument is littered with what appear to be monster bones. The whole thing feels ominous beyond words, but you dig around in your pack for something that might fit the monument's hollow.
This is where we use that bangle.
Operating on a hunch, you reach for the tarnished bangle you picked up earlier and slot it into the hollow. It fits perfectly. So, the Sand Prowler Czar is sealed here, Polka says, his voice quivering. The monster bones littering the site begin to rattle. It sure looks like you've awoken the Sand Prowler Czar from its slumber. There's no getting out of this fight.
Well, this is a completely optional fight, but we get a reward of a Ring of Life out of doing this, which is one of the reasons why I do this, because free HP is always a good thing to have. Alright, so we're gonna buff. And we're going to lower our defense if we can get the roll for it, but since it's a low level skill, it's harder to get the roll, unfortunately. And he heals 5 per turn, so not gonna be an easy thing to land until we get higher level skills or better options for things. We're gonna go for a Frenzy. And just settle him down. If I had got the defense drop, the Frenzy attack would have done so much more for us, but that we take an extra turn.
The Sand Prowler Czar is but a pile of bones once more, its body thoroughly destroyed. The menacing energy you felt around the monument and bangle has also vanished. Cracks form in the bangle, their crooked fingers reaching up every which way through the monument. It crumbles to dust in seconds. A treasure chest peeks out from beneath the rubble. Might this be the Sand Prowler Czar's treasure? You fling the chest open with glee and find an exquisite accessory within.
Yeah, that Ring of Life is huge for us. So it's 3 HP recovered on every turn, plus a bonus 5 HP. We get less defense out of it, and we have trading the damage off, but we're going to be giving that ring better stats to a goal anyways. And then we're going to be giving this ring to our boy here, because he's eventually going to get stuff to use for damage. And we still have another party member we're going to be picking up towards the end of this chapter. And now we can continue with progressing the main story. And then hopefully, the Dryad will be able to, with some luck, we'll get the chance to the RNG on the drops to be able to get Steal from her. I'm gonna head west here. We're gonna go pick up a panacea. Since that allows us to cure status effects in a pinch where we need to. Unnecessary crit goal. And then we're gonna go back down and then head south. And since we have that simple key, we can get through the door that's blocking our way down here. To keep count of you. And that would be a fun thing to keep track of, though. It would be. Should do that in the future. Have counters for like all the useless crits and bad RNG that we get. Be interesting to start tracking that stuff a bit. That happens far more than you would think. Yeah, it's like, by habit, like a lot of the time it's like, you usually get them critting when you don't need to crit, or you get them not rolling when they need to roll.
The door is shut tight. It does, however, have a keyhole. You slide the simple.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of
key
money.
into the
We're gonna get a
keyhole
lot of
and turn
useless
it.
crits. We still have
There is a
another 10
satisfying
hours to
click
go.
as the lock opens. With a pleased look on his face, Polka thumbs his glasses back
Because we've
up
already
on
had
his
like
nose.
5 useless crits. I don't know the exact count. We'd have to go back and get somebody to tally. Oh, there's a chest that I want to grab before I go down. It's just like, oh, stairs, grab it. Like, there's a chest over here in the corner. Alright, now we can go down. I really need all these healing items, so especially because I can carry them later into the game. Alright, time for boss fight. Double check that our health is okay. Allie's a little bit low, but we should be okay.
You swear you see something move in the darkness. The three of you carefully step toward whatever it is, only to find it's a monster.
Alright, first boss of this chapter, second boss of the run, technically. Alright, so we're going to just generate... Guy can hurt, and he also has an ability to heal himself off damage. It would have been nice to lower that armor right off the bat, but that didn't happen. Alright, anyways. Pop up alley here. Poco's gonna be on healing duties. I'm gonna try to have Legol help us out with debuffs and stuff, but I doubt that's gonna happen, because getting a 6 right now is bloody impossible, it looks like. Hopefully paralyzed. For another buff. Legol, you're gonna deal 9 either way, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just not gonna go for the debuff. Ding gems on me. Trying to roll a 6 is, like, possible sometimes. It'd be more valuable on bosses to land things like poison and stuff, but... I'd just try to get damage through at this point. Have any fire skills, so I can't really take advantage of that.
Something squirms in the worm's midsection. She did say the monster swallowed her partner, Polka whispers, not wanting to injure the very much alive entity inside. You carefully begin slicing into the worm's stomach. When a rat pops out. You've ventured into the deepest part of the ruins, but there's no sign of the large monster or the girl's partner. What if the rat is her partner? You tilt your head in confusion, and the rodent scampers off out of sight.
That was kind of cute.
With no further leads to go on, you decide to return to the young girl for now and tell her what you found.
Choose get me out now if you're in a hurry.
Yep, get me out of here, Gilfrey.
You all resolve to leave the sand ruins immediately. You emerge from the ruins in time to see the beast tamer leaping up and down, the rat you freed earlier gathered up in her arms. Thank, partner safe, happy, she squeals through tears of joy rather than sadness. Oh, isn't that lovely, Polka says, smiling. You've got slightly more complicated feelings about it. The girl announces that she's off to rejoin the rest of the main troop and trots off with her companion in tow.
Find a return.
The caravan is larger than it was when you left. Seems the troop members you rescued found their way back safely. The young man you rescued races over the moment he sees you. I found my way back. Thank you so much for saving me. He beams.
This is the happiest music you'll get in this Yoko Taro game or in most of the games in general, so enjoy it while it lasts.
The ringmaster is next in line, peppering you with praise as he wrenches your entire arm up and down in a forceful handshake. He proudly announces that you can eat and drink your fill as a show of his gratitude. Oh, and he absolutely insists you see the show. He's certain you'll love it. Finding yourself looking forward to the circus, you decide to invite Legol and Polka to come along, but they're nowhere to be found. It looks like they took off on their own. Thinking it would be much more fun to go see the circus together, you decide to look for the pair. You find Polka holding a cup with some kind of golden liquid in it. A gentle-looking woman seems to be teaching him something. The woman whips the monster and roars with laughter. This little fellow sees this as a reward. Polka nods along. Aha, I see. This is most instructive. You're not completely sure what you're looking at. You decide to drag Polka away and take him to the show. You find Legol stuffing some kind of well-cooked meat into his mouth. Beside him is the beast tamer girl. When she notices you, she begins to thank you enthusiastically in crude language. However, your features harden when you see her looking lovingly at her monster partner. Seeing this, Legol asks, "You need something?" You invite Legol to come to the show and step away. You can hear the sounds of a lively crowd coming from the circus tent. The show must be about to begin.
All right, we ready for the circus show?
What do you think they'll show at the, show?
Stepping into the tent is akin to entering another universe. Clowns balance atop balls. Jugglers juggle objects with ease. Performers soar through the air on the trapeze. Your first circus show is infinitely more impressive than all the images you'd conjured in your head. Unfortunately, you also find yourself too vexed to fully enjoy it. You cannot stop thinking about the girl making nice with that monster. The young boy makes a show of stopping his ball directly in front of you and holds something out to you. "Which one of these do you like best?" he asks with a wink.
All right, we're gonna take the money.
You point at the money, but the boy simply keeps smiling at you. He makes no effort to hand it over. The boy points to his own round nose. You stare intently at his nose, but nothing happens. He then points to his hand. You look down at your own hands and... What? The money is already in your hand. The boy smiles wryly at you. You cannot help but gaze at the prize that so wondrously found its way into your possession. The Beast Tamer is the next performer to take the stage. It seems she's going to put on some sort of monster show, as you'd expect. Though this time, she's joined not just by the rat, but other foul creatures.
Watch, teamwork, do best.
And just like that, the goodwill engendered by the young boy's gift evaporates. and your heart hardens anew. The beast tamer, however, has no idea that you harbor such simmering resentment and begins her show. Or she tries to, but one of the beasts begins raging out of control. "Help!" the ringmaster shouts in a panic. You instinctively grip your weapon and leap out of your seat to confront the monster. To battle.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and generate. Hopefully you get the defense to roll down. Thank you, finally. About time. Really like those skills to get leveled up so they don't take as high of a roll to get them to proc.
Beautiful.
Two crits in a row. It's so good.
The monster is nearly dead. You prepare to strike the killing blow.
That was the fastest I've
only
gotten
for
that
the
Drake
beast
fight.
tamer to leap between you and your prey. You unleash your fury upon the girl as she protects the monster.
Why would you try to save this filthy beast's life?
Polka's eyes widen as she easily parries your attack. "Listen, story," she says, hugging you so tightly you can hardly move. The beast tamer tells you it was her fault the beast went berserk. She accidentally trod on its tail as she issued her command. "It wasn't the monster's fault," she says. Tears well up in her eyes. It was her own inexperience. She begins to sob. The ringmaster peels her off you and gives you his heartfelt thanks for once again saving the circus. "Allow me to introduce you. This is Trollis," he says. He follows up the introduction with yet another unexpected request. He wants Trollis to accompany you so she can further develop her skills. Apparently, the idea came to him as soon as he saw your masterful command of the beast in battle. Trollis, trembling, turns her gaze to you.
Yes, I love you, Trollis.
Hesitate. "That's a fantastic idea," bellows Polka, agreeing in your stead. Legol turns to Trollis. "We're all talking around you. Is this what you want?" Trollis thinks for a moment. "Yes, train," she chirps, nodding emphatically. Sensing no way to push back against the overwhelming force of Polka and the ringmaster, you agree to take Trollis along. She breathes frantically through her nose. "Do best, she says eagerly. "This is shaping up to be a fun journey," Polka says, visibly excited. Polka has apparently invited himself to join your crew. Legol starts to say something, but Polka is already so deep into a speech that he loses the will. "We must celebrate the start of Trollis's training," the ringmaster shouts. Not a moment later, everything and everyone is in motion. The various performers jostle you about as they rush up to wish you the best and tell you to take good care of Trollus.
We will. We love Trollus around here.
As the dust settles, the performers settle to sleep wherever there happens to be space. You stealthily pack your belongings. You have to get out of here. This monster-loving circus just rubs you the wrong way.
Alright, so we're gonna get Legol and leave.
You reach out to wake Legol, to tell him you both should get out of. I'm awake, he whispers. You look more closely and see he too has packed his things. He must have known how you felt all along. The two of you agree to sneak out of the circus. You approach the exit to find Polka standing there, as though he were waiting for you. This is sure to be awkward. He approaches you. Can I tell you something? He asks, in a far more measured tone than you've ever heard from him. He begins to recount the story of his parents. They too studied monsters. One day, when Polka was very young, monsters attacked his village, killing his parents. His mother raced to get him to safety. She told him to run and began shouting, "The monsters! There!" That was when the flames took her. Polka tells you that he began studying monsters in the hopes of one day understanding what she was trying to say. He lowers his head and confesses that he needs your help in order to do so. You Subterrans have the power I need to solve this mystery. I know it. You search his face. He's being sincere. You nod. Polka is no longer just someone you met, or just some scholar. He's you, an orphan. You tell Polka you'll help him once he answers one question. Does he hate monsters? Hatred reduces the mind's capacity for serious inquiry, he notes, his smile exposing gritted teeth. So, he's suppressing his hatred of them beneath a veneer of reason and logic. That'll do. Already leave? Comes another voice. Your chatter must have woken Trollus. Her strength will serve us well. We should bring her with us, Polka adds, sensing your reluctance. Serve well, Trollus parrots, sweeping you off your feet. Thus were your defenses eroded and your ranks bolstered. You depart the circus with your new companions.
So ends chapter 2. Yeah, so all 4 of our main characters in this game, in our party, are all orphans. So they all share that bond together. But yeah, Trollus, best girl. Love her character so much in this game in particular. And I feel really bad for Allie though, because what a way to start the game is celebrating your 14th birthday just to have everybody murdered. And yeah, then sets us up for this wild adventure.
Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Somehow, your group finds themselves wandering in the desert yet again. You had no problem with letting Polka lead the way, but the sand skiff soon sailed headlong into quicksand and met with disaster. Well, that's not good. No use crying over spilt milk. Don't want to waste even a drop of moisture out here, after all, Polka quips, holding a water canteen over his mouth and tapping it. You lack the energy to react to Polka's little jest and remain splayed and unmoving on the deck. Despite the rest of the group wasting away under the heat and grappling with brutal thirst, Trollis seems to have maintained some vigor.
I look for water. Can smell. Wait.
Trollis's nose twitches as she sniffs at the air a bit. She picks up the scent of water to the north and heads off in that direction.
Time to go head to the water.
A musty smell wafts from the rocky area beyond. Maybe there could be some water there. No sooner does the thought cross Trollis's mind than a monster attacks from the shadows. Battle time. The rush of victory over the monster is short-lived, as there doesn't seem to be any water nearby. Muttering, "Water," Trollis stares at the defeated creature. The beast does seem to have a great deal of, well, liquid.
Eek!
With a great squelchy squeeze, Trollis wrings the fluid out of the creature's body.
Lime juice. Water. Make friends happy. Hurry and bring.
Trollis returns to the sand skiff and helps everyone drink some of the slime juice. Each, in turn, regains their vitality. The juice is faintly sweet and tasty. Polka asks, "Where'd you come by this stuff?" However, Trollis's reply leaves something to be desired. Squeezed it. Everyone drank. Everyone better.
I love trolls.
Polka inclines his head, deep in thought. But fruit is rare and hard to come by. The group decides to have Trollis lead them to where she located the sweet liquid.
Alright, we're gonna go set up our party. We're gonna order people here a little bit. And set up some skills. So Trollis, we need to give you some stuff here. Here. A lot of equipment to work with. So we're going to that ring. Trollis is gonna get the on the ring there. Set up our skills. Virtual stab. Frenzy. Want to Frenzy. What else do we want to give Trollis here? We don't have Gale Storm, so I can't really give her that right now. The other thing that we can give her is... Fence down. It kind of gives everybody access to about 2 abilities for now.
The group arrives at the place where Trollis obtained the liquid, but there seems to be nothing there.
No, you're right. She didn't tell any lies.
Did Trollis bring all of it back in one trip? As you mull your thoughts, Polka suddenly points. Look there. You take a closer look and see that there are cracks running through the rocks. They just might break open if hit with enough force.
Lagol break them.
Lagol grunts in affirmation and then starts hitting the rocks. Over and over again he pounds on them until blood oozes from his fist and flecks of it splatter the stones. With a cracking sound, the rocks break apart. You can continue on. Beyond the rocks, a barren waste stretches out before you. The party decides to press on through the arid expanse in hopes of finding a place to rest and eat.
All right, time to leave this section of the...
You've come across a river. A river that is somehow fully ablaze. There won't be any drinking this water. Polka's curiosity is piqued. He shouts, "But water cannot burn. It defies scientific reason." Next to him, Trollis's nose twitches.
Good spell. Lots over there.
She's evidently located something with her keen sense of smell. There might be food nearby. The party opts to trust in Trollis's nose and heads off in the direction she indicates.
Right, City of Flames.
You arrive in a city humming with life and bustle. There! Trollis practically falls over with excitement as she whips her hand out to point at the food stall. The stall is stacked high with fresh grilled meats, which are by all accounts the source of the smell she noticed.
Ooh.
Black smoke billows from rows of chimneys, swirling up into the sky. It looks as though the whole city makes use of the flammable water. Polka cannot hold back his curiosity. "I must inquire as to this comburant water," he says, zipping away. In fact, he zips off quickly enough that you and the others lose sight of him. Shrugging your shoulders, you decide to head off in search of him.
Okay, so go back here.
The young man is mumbling something. Listening carefully, you put the snatches of audible words together. It sounds as though he is unhappy about the local aristocrat. Apparently, said aristocrat is monopolizing the tinder water supply and reaping massive profits from it. You ask the lad about Polka, and he answers quickly, he ran off toward the pet shop. You locate Polka in a state of considerable excitement as he observes a burning pond. He notices you a moment later and starts chattering rapidly. This town is incredible. They use this combustible water as an energy source to make their living. And what's more, he goes on without taking a breath. It doesn't sound like his rambles are anywhere close to finished. But then, suddenly, the sound of children weeping reaches your ears. It sounds like it's coming from a back alley. In the back alleyway, two emaciated children stand alone, with naught but the clothes on their backs. They look to be siblings. Great tears stream down the boy's face. Between sobs, he explains that their mother and father both died of illness.
More orphans. Lovely.
Orphans. Not uncommon in big cities like this, Legol says. Something akin to a vice grips your heart, and you wonder if there is some way you can help them. You hit upon an idea. Why not ask the aristocrat making huge profits from the tinder water for assistance?
So now we're gonna go talk to him.
A well-dressed man of clear sophistication and means emerges from the manor, and he seems willing to listen to you. You bring up the plight of the city's orphans. The man listens to your story and then hangs his head. I would love to do something, truly I would. But you see, my own child. He explains that his son is bedridden, stricken with an illness of unknown origin. The aristocrat's mind seems fully preoccupied with thoughts of his own child. At a loss, you look over at Polka. He catches your glance and then offers to examine the aristocrat's child. Polka explains that he has some medical knowledge, and the man practically leaps on him, desperate enough to cling to any ray of hope. It looks as though Polka will be performing an impromptu medical exam. According to Polka, the aristocrat's child has been poisoned. The man's jaw falls open. That cannot be. My household employs silverware that reacts to poison in food. You suggest the possibility that there could be a venomous monster nearby. At this suggestion, the aristocrat blurts out, "The flame primal. It exudes a toxic gas." Polka explains that if the source of the poison was indeed somehow the flame primal, it might be possible to craft an antidote from its body. And then, as though struck by an idea, he adds, and perhaps as a thank you for my doing so, we might discuss aid for the poor orphans of the city? Yes, of course. Seeing the aristocrat's immediate response, you can't help but be astonished by Polka's wisdom and negotiating skill.
Look, just dragging us into more
Upon
stuff.
leaving the manor, Polka explains, with no small amount of pride in his voice, "My own investigations indicate that the flame primal is in the lake of fire to the northwest of the city. It seems like his running about all over the city wasn't for nothing."
So we're going to be heading to the armor shop. We need to go ahead and buy some armor. Okay, so we need the adventurer's attire for Ali and Polka. And then, how much money do we have left? Okay, need steel breastplate for Lagol. Not a lot of defense, but any amount of defense this early helps. Not too much else we can do here. Also equipped. And we can sell off any old gear that we don't need currently for a little bit of extra money back. Both these rings, I can sell one. So we can leave. HP is good. Low on HP. I'm gonna go to the pet shop and
What
see
can
if
I
there's
help you
anything I
with?
can buy out of
The
here.
shopkeep asks.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to buy the centaur. Like, buy that. Have the skill since we were missing it, and we haven't got it to drop. Done. And yeah, that's about it. Not much else that I want to do. And then we're gonna set up some stuff. So we need to set up skills. Want 4 damage. Give Trollis. Frenzy there, and then the goal is going to that's good for now. I think the only other thing is I probably want to put the heal on back on Allie here because the higher heal bonus with it. That is about the only thing going into this section that I might gonna be worth doing. Volko's not really gonna have skills use other than back. Defense down, I guess. I'm short a few skills that I normally would like to have by this point, but there's not a whole lot I can do from it. But anyways, we're gonna leave. We're gonna head north.
Get him.
Gonna try to get some skills along the way. We can get deadly poison off the purple slimes. Useless crit. Thank you, Allie. We're gonna pick up this chest. More money. So we're pretty good for money for now, but we're gonna spend that very quickly once we get out of this chapter. into the lake of fire we go.
Polka warns, don't breathe too deeply here. The very air could be noxious poison.
Alright, in the next dungeon we go. We're heading northeast here. Get a fire stay ring that'll help us against the fire primal when we get to him.
Battle time.
And hopefully we can get the other poison skill as well. Oh god, that's such a huge upgrade. Yes! Oh my god, poison will be so much more viable now. Oh, that's huge. Rolling above a 3 is so much easier than rolling a 6. That is huge.
Battle time.
We'll actually be able to make use of it. That is ridiculously good.
Beautiful.
I'm actually very happy about that. Even if we don't get the deadly poison skill, being able to just have a poison skill that's easier to apply will be so much more beneficial to us going through the run. Especially on enemies that are going to be regenerating and healing a lot. Alright, so we're gonna head back south here. Like, even if that was only like a single star level upgrade, like, the fact that it's a 4 is huge. Yeah, okay. So we got a good water skill damage. That's good. Have something we can finally give Polka to deal damage. We want to put that there. That there. Alright, so now Polka has damage. There's a chest over here that we want to pick up.
To battle.
It's gonna have a ominous salve in it that we'll want. Yeah, having a water skill for this area is gonna be big for us. Need to deal with like things like the turtles. Heading down here. Deliberate. Finally have something to give Polka to allow him to deal damage to help out. Like, he doesn't have a basic attack, unlike the other characters. There's a side event here.
You pick up a scrap of paper you spot by your feet. Against all odds, it hasn't burnt to ash. It appears to be part of a crudely drawn treasure map. A sketched treasure chest lies between a lake, white mountains, and rocky crags. A treasure map! Everyone shouts at you in unison. You slip the scrap of paper into your pack and make a mental note to keep an eye out for the location the doodle depicts.
So between a lake, mountains, and a rocky crag. Deal with that later, possibly. Don't need to worry about that for now. So we're going to continue south here till we see an ogre. That'll be another guaranteed fight. And then off that fight, we'll have a chance to get access to 2 possibly new skills that'll be handy later, which is either going to be Flame Breath or Helm Splitter. Flame Breath can be up to level 2.
You get monsters bar the path. That said, it doesn't look like they've noticed you yet. They probably don't see many humans around here, given that the lake is surrounded by fire. They're completely oblivious. Taking care to be as quiet as possible, you steal close to the monsters and attack them.
So, open up the water jet. Trellis help with the turtles, and she can deal fly damage.
The monsters don't attack. In fact, they look like they're trying to find an opening to make a run for it.
So Charles now has a passive heal. So on level 2 Flame Breath. Okay, so we need to go get another item here. Be the Panacea, and then be getting a Bill of Godly Fortune as well that will be saving for much later with more powerful skills at our disposal that we could possibly get. Good crit.
Oh!
Okay, deadly poison 2 is nice. Good to see, we have the deadly poison. Also requires us to roll at least a 5, which is not as easy to do. Like, essentially asks